Sadly, my uncle died suddenly on March 30th, 2019. Other than brief trips to Uncle Doug's house and forge, metal wasn't part of my life at all. After college, I dove into advertising and marketing like a properly raised woman determined to use her education. My marriage at age 22 to John, my college sweetheart, brought me closer to metal, if only by way of my in-laws. My father-in-law made a living at the time by welding. In his basement, he would build everything from the toy chests in my children's rooms to impossibly tall birdhouses and fantastical creatures made from leftover scrap metal. I spent my days hard at work at an ad agency, and my evenings moonlighting as a wedding planner, while John studied for finance tests. The closest I came to cookware was when I cooked in our tiny one-bedroom apartment in Milwaukee. The kitchen had a gas stove that needed to be lit with a match, and the eating area was so small we could only fit one of those outdoor bistro tables and 2 chairs in it. Our wedding china remained in boxes in our parents' basements. I had a handful of pots and pans, which barely fit in cupboards jammed with our wedding gifts, plus some cheap non-stick pots from when I'd been holed up in a minuscule efficiency apartment before John and I tied the knot. This was the best we could manage, and it didn't deter me from having dinner parties, though looking back, I wonder what I thought I was accomplishing by cramming even 2 more bodies into that tiny kitchen and eating area. Shortly after John and I bought a house outside Milwaukee, the real estate market crashed in 2008. No one knew the extent of the damage at first, or how much it would affect nearly every industry. Also, anything that happens on the coasts seems to show up later in the Midwest. So while we didn't feel the immediate dramatic effects of the crash the way they may have in New York, our recovery was going to take far, far longer. Because of this slow crash, I didn't think it strange to make a huge life change right then, so I left my steady job with benefits at the ad agency to strike out on my own as a full-time event planner. John would say it was because I never do anything the easy way. Being a wedding planner did have its perks. Not only did I get to work with people who were usually extremely passionate about their marriage beyond the wedding day itself, but I was also able to design beautiful moments for them. Plus, I loved the tastings and food choices. I could probably write a book about the event catastrophes that happened. The cake topper fell in the catering room and the bride's head broke off. And the entire tent has collapsed in the thunderstorm. And even, I know it's 4 days before the wedding and you're almost due with the baby, but the Maharaja horse the groom needed for the ceremony just died. Still, I really loved doing weddings and events and met many wonderful people who are still friends today. Wedding planning requires more physical engagement than what is shown on television. There are silk banners to be stretched across log cabin arches, flower crowns to be glued, candles to be hung from silvery branches, and glittery name tags to be set out by every place setting. And sometimes there are last-minute panics. The bride wants to toss the bouquet. She doesn't have a toss bouquet. She didn't want one. Well, you better do something or she's going to throw that 10-pound arrangement and hurt somebody. Cue my hastily pulling flowers from a centerpiece, tying them with grass, and praying they stayed together. Moments like that leave a body feeling fresh and alive. Plus, I always love a challenge. The thrill of creative problem-solving. Then the children came. First, I simply carried Will along to every meeting. Looking back, I can't believe I'd take him to restaurants where I'd sit with an engaged couple while nursing and taking notes, and then run to a rehearsal with him in tow, leaving him hanging out in a church aisle while I sprinted around to take care of some problem. No wonder he's a chill kid. When Hannah came along 2 years later, I took her to most meetings, too. Though I did try to coordinate fewer weddings, I wasn't exactly slowing down. Between working as a mom and a wedding planner, I had 2 full-time jobs simultaneously. In the meantime, John was eyeballs deep in studying for his Chartered Financial Analyst certification, so things were always a little crazy around the house. John and I had always planned to have lots of kids. When we were dating, we initially thought 6, but that soon became 5. Once we realized how expensive raising children can be, and the amount of mental and physical energy that is required.